Hello, 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 hello. This is Truth Be Told podcast. I'm your host, Britt. Today, y'all, we have episode number 104 with Vanessa. We are talking about the Mace Method. I
Yes.
am so excited to hear about this method and how it can transform our life. Before we go any further, guys, if you are new to this channel, please go like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We are on YouTube, we are on Apple, we're on Spotify. Just let us know what we can do to better your day. How are you doing today, Vanessa?
I'm good, Brittany. How are you going?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. And also, shout out to Trey the Glue. He is on here. He is so amazing. He is always just highlighting Truth Be Told podcast. He's a great PR. And so, just thank you, Trey, for joining us today. Vanessa, tell us a little bit more about your background and what made you come on the show today.
I'm a qualified counsellor of nearly 20 years, and on my own personal journey, through life had my ups and downs. I suffered depression quite badly when I was in my 20s and had a divorce, and there's a few life things that happened. And even though I was a counsellor, I was struggling with my own feelings in that. And often with clients, I would find that, you would give them strategies and things and they would feel better, but quite often they would come back, often about the same thing or something slightly different. And what I was realizing was talking about all your problems and everything that's going on in your world doesn't actually help. And they're actually now proving that in more of a mainstream way. And so I came across Mace. I was searching for some things of my own and then discovered the Mace Energy Method, which is phenomenal. Been around for a very long time and yet not really well known. So today I kind of would like to share what Mace is and just be able to get your viewers to see that there is something out there that can actually help in a permanent way of dealing with people's traumas, upsets, stressful events, patterns of behavior, feelings and thoughts about themselves that they don't particularly like and want to change. That's all what Mace can help with.
I love that you even came across this method, this energy method that can help us improve our life day to day. Because people don't realize sometimes it's hard just to even get out the bed, to open a
Mm.
bill, to walk the dog, to put the kids on the bus, go be parents. It's just the day to day struggle can be just hard enough. So
Mm.
any tool that can help us better our day, I would love to know more about it. So can you tell us what the MACE method stands for?
So the Mace method stands for, it was founded by a gentleman called John Mace. He is an Australian that lived in WA, Western Australia, in Perth. And he was he was a ship's captain of all things, but he was always had this intense wanting of learning more about the human, the mind, the psyche, all of that. So he kind of was doing a lot of personal research. And he also has a really good friend, John Avery, who was a counsellor. And between the two of them, they discovered this method, which is a massive shift in paradigm to anything else out there. And this is why, mainstream things like people are really realizing, and COVID kind of contributed to this, is people realize that the mental health system across the world isn't working. And there's reasons for it. And one of the things that Mace is it's the shift in the paradigm that it has is it's the discovery about the mind. A lot of people think the mind does everything, but the mind actually has one function. And so being able to understand that, we then can understand how we work as human beings. And because we now have this full understanding, we can very easily get rid of the things that get in your way. We have what we call, we have our positive roles and identities that we do. So some of my positive roles and identities are, well, I'm a mum, I'm a business owner, and I'm a Mace practitioner and trainer. And you, Brittany, would have your own roles, things that you do, people, jobs that you have, they're all roles that you play.
Mhm.
but we have what we call negative identities. And this is the shift that most people don't realize. When you think about someone that you like and how are you with them compared to someone who maybe you don't particularly like or don't know very well. You're different people, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. So think about when you're stressed. You're a different person when you're stressed and when you're calm and chilled out. Think about pattern of behavior that you do that you kind of go, oh, I keep doing that. Why do I keep doing that? There's a reason, and that's because they're actually negative identities.
Oh, wow.
They're identities that we unknowingly create through a moment of stress, trauma, or upset. We don't know that we do it. We do it in like a split of a second. But the problem is they then start getting a lot of power and energy from us and take over our lives.
So it's like our subconscious mind that could be replaying these negative thoughts, negative loop patterns that you say we don't realize sometimes, gosh, why are we doing this? Or why we are a certain way around someone that we love or are just friends with versus somebody that we probably don't get along with. Because when you were asking me that, I could even feel the emotion going
Ah,
from high to low when you ask me being around somebody that I don't like.
yeah. So exactly. Feelings control our lives. They control what we do and what we don't do, what we say and don't say. They control our decisions and our attitudes when you think about it. And so if we know that feelings control our lives, then wouldn't it be best if we could eliminate the negative feelings that are controlling the negative aspects of our lives?
Yes.
And a lot of people think they can't do it. A lot of people think you've got to manage it. And, like, for example, anxiety. People pay lots of money to learn how to manage their anxiety, but anxiety is just the manifestation of an unwanted feeling that you don't want to feel. So what happens is, let's say something happens outside of you and upset, right? And then you have this feeling that you don't want to feel. It's going to hurt. It's painful. So what we end up doing is we give it resistance. But as we all know, what you resist persists because you're holding on to it in order to resist it.
Mhm.
We don't resist good feelings. We don't go, oh, I don't want to be happy. We allow that feeling to flow through us. But when it comes to disappointment or hurt or hopelessness or some of those really more intense feelings, we tend to go, no, I don't want to feel that feeling, and we actually give it that resistance. And so in that resistance it stays, but then what happens is the law of survival kicks in, and this urge to survive, we all have it, and we then make a decision about it. Now, in the mainstream, it's often referred to as limiting beliefs, but these are just decisions that you unknowingly made about yourself, like, I'm incapable, I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy. And the problem is, once you've made that decision, you then become that lesser person. Does that
Mhm.
make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. I want to know how, and I love that you're going there because this channel, we definitely focus on mental health and healing and just, real life conversations. And so, how does the Mace method help with those limits and beliefs, that trauma, and just any type of negative loop back that you have learned along the way?
When you understand that we have patterns of behavior going on, but it's what we don't know that we don't know that actually rules us. It's in charge of us. So what Mace does is Mace actually finds the root cause of what you're under the effect of and eliminate it. So that negative decision, that negative feeling that's being resisted, we actually, with a simple mindful process, delete it, and it's gone for good, never to return.
Oh, wow.
So we can actually get rid of anxiety. We can actually get rid of depression. That chatter in your head. A lot of women kind of, and men too, but I'll talk mostly about the women, is, we have a to-do list, 1,000, ticks long. We have children, we're working, we're doing all of these things. And by the time we lay down in bed, our mind starts to just, do that ruminating, and we start looking at all our problems, and we start having, replaying conversations, or we start trying to work out what we're going to be doing the next day, and often affects our sleep. So even if we could actually shush that voice, which you can, imagine how much more peaceful your life would be.
Way more peaceful.
Right? Exactly. So Mace gets to the root of what's actually causing you all the drama and the trouble in your life.
I love it.
Even even other people, like, a lot of the times we're quite reactive to other people, but when we're reacting, it's these negative identities that we unknowingly created that are actually playing out, not who we really are. And so when we have an interaction with a person, if they affect us, that's only because there's something in us that they keep triggering up.
Mhm.
Now, if you could clear that out, where you could then be in the vicinity of that person and not be affected by them at all, do you see how much more in charge of your life you would feel?
Oh gosh, yes. So it's not
Right?
the person itself, it's what's inside of you that's triggering from that person that brings it out.
Exactly. Yeah. So then, so then we play out these behaviors, but they become patterns. And so when, this person does A, B, C, you will automatically do X, Y, Z. But when you actually get rid of what's affecting you, they may still do A, B, C, but you're no longer going to do X, Y, Z. You're going to respond and it will be right for you. And that is so empowering for a person because take back that control. They start to have more control in their life. They have control over their emotions. They have more clarity on their decisions, and they're able to move through life in a much more positive, happier way.
So, if you were introducing this method to someone who is new to personal development, trying to figure out how these negative loopholes or negative feedback continues to play in their mind like a hamster on a wheel, just keeps going and going, what would be one thing, or what would be the first step that you could tell that person or give that person to be able to follow this method?
So with the Mace method, and this is where the shift is, there's no real strategy that you can band-aid over the top of something. So the first thing is being able to recognize that there's something in your life you don't particularly like or want to change. Whether that's an aspect of your personality, a pattern of behavior that you consistently keep doing. Like, let's say, you consistently keep being angry. Angry is not healthy. It's not, to be consistently angry and flying off the handle. It's so toxic for your relationships and so harmful to yourself. So imagine if you could actually go and delete that persona or that part of you, that aspect. If you could delete that, then you're going to respond differently. So Mace helps you do that, but we don't have any, okay, just repeat affirmations to yourself or,
Okay.
reframe. We don't do that because it doesn't work.
Mhm.
And this is why people keep coming back. The self-help industry is $1 billion industry,
Mhm.
right? But why do most people go and do self-help? What are they doing when they go and start, personal development?
They're doing affirmations. They're doing journaling. Journaling could be one that helps them in the morning, meditation, some type of routine. But then it always comes back. So I understand what you're referring to as talking about your problems. That's why I was so intrigued about the Mace method, simply because of where I'm at in my life. I know that a lot of things have started flustering back up in me. And so I'm always asking myself, Brittany, why are you getting mad about something that you thought you were already over? What is the actual root of why you're mad? And so with the Mace method, how can you figure out that root is what I'm asking. I know it's not like a 1-2 step, but someone who is just lost in trying to figure it out and not trying to keep going through those negative loopholes, how do they figure that out with this method?
Well, there's two ways. So you can do it the long haul way, which is the old paradigm way, which is keep journaling, keep questioning, okay, where's this coming from? Why am I feeling this way? What's a memory that I can remember where I felt the same? That's another way. So that's a long way that you can do it, and journaling it down. So you could write, okay, this is the behavior. This is how I felt. Then, okay, well, when did I first do this? Or when do I remember doing this? And you write down all the times. And what you do is you kind of drill down to what the actual cause is, but sometimes you'll get it and sometimes you won't. What Mace does is it bypasses all of that. It has a direct way of getting to the root cause and eliminating it there, because we don't work with, you know, most personal development talks about there are three elements of a human being: mind, body, soul, spirit, being, right? But there's actually the fourth element's been discovered, and that's what the shift is, and that's that negative identities, or identities in general. But it's the negative identities we're interested in because they contain all the negative aspects of our lives. So now that we know that we're actually made up of four elements, not three, we work with all of it.
Oh, okay.
Right? And because we know that feelings are energy, you know, we work in the energy universe. It's not woo woo. It's actually quite like there's quite a logical basis to this. And when you kind of see it and you do it, it's like, oh my gosh, that was so easy and that makes total sense. So if you kind of, this is how I explain it to the people that come and see me, is you have an unwanted feeling coming in. You don't want to feel it. So you give it resistance, but in the resistance of it, you hold on to it, right? Then you make a decision about it, and then you bury it deep in your psyche and you try and get on with life. Then something else happens and touches that feeling. So you give it a little bit more energy to keep resisting it. But in what happens is we start to develop mechanisms. So we might, let's say this is, I feel hopeless, right? It's a hopeless feeling. So, but then we might get anger. We might distract ourselves. We might lash out. And we start to develop these traits. And so this is what plays out in our life because we don't actually want to feel this feeling. What Mace does is it locates that feeling. It gets rid of that feeling, and then that whole thing just crumbles away. It goes. That's the best way I can explain it. It's not something you can do yourself. You actually do have to work with a practitioner in order to do it. But what we find is, you know, you don't need years of therapy. You can actually shift things within 1 to 2 sessions. Sometimes you might need a few more sessions depending on the depth and what's actually going on. But most people can actually create a massive change in their life within just a couple of sessions. And it's gone for good. It never comes back.
Just by identifying the energy part of the Mace method, because you said we're mind, body, and soul. And so you bring that energy part to it. And then once you actually tackle the feeling, then it'll go away and it won't ever come back. It reminds me kind of like they talk about like a beach ball, you know, when it's underwater and we're about to explode. And when it explodes, you get anger, you get depression, you get fear, you get whatever feeling you're having at that moment. But instead of feeling that, if you actually practice the Mace method and work with someone as yourself, like a practitioner, then you can get past that and those feelings would eventually go away.
Well, so in terms of that analogy, we just take the ball away and get rid of it.
Oh, I need you, Vanessa.
Okay? We just remove it, and it's phenomenal. You know, it's an experience. It's not something that you can learn. It's an experience that you've got to go through. It is quite hard to explain it in terms of how it works.
Okay.
But to kind of give you some examples, I had a 14-year-old boy. He was suffering anxiety so badly that he was vomiting and couldn't get to school, and his mum was struggling to get him to school. He wasn't getting to school till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock of an afternoon. Our school here finishes at 3 in Australia, so you can imagine he's missing a lot of school. And he was really just finding it so challenging. So she reached out to me through a recommendation. He had one session and she got him to school.
Oh, wow.
So he still has a little bit of work to do. I will put like sort of, you know, he's probably got a couple more sessions to completely eliminate it, but the intensity of it has definitely been reduced. I had another client, a 40-year-old woman. She came to me for relationship issues, but turned out that she had a really traumatic event happen in her when she was 13, and she'd done the mainstream therapy. Um, Unfortunately, she kind of got onto the drugs. She got in and out of rehab. She did manage to clean herself up. But when we did the work and we're aiming for her relationship, that actually got cleaned up. And she said to me, she said, in all the years, this is the first time I can feel that's actually gone.
Oh, wow.
So, like I said, it's a really powerful method. It works phenomenally, and it works on anybody who wants to change and let go of what's controlling them in life can absolutely do it. I look at my own life and I look back, when I suffered chronic depression, and I can relate to what you said just before about, you know, um, getting up and just getting out of bed. And I remember my eldest was only 3 at the time, and I would lay on the lounge all day, kind of sort of playing with him. I paid for a house cleaner that my husband didn't know about because I couldn't function.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to sort of have that kind of lurking in the background most of my life, to then have it completely gone, is transformational. I don't even I mean, I can relate, I can hear that person, and I can understand who I was, but I can't relate to it anymore. It's just
Right.
not me. And
You're not the
so
same.
it's phenomenal changes that can occur in your world when you actually shift the things that are running you.
I love this. I've never heard of the Mace Method until you inboxed me. And then I was intrigued. I started looking into it. I actually want to apply it more to just my day to day so that I can understand and actually get with somebody who's a professional of yourself so that I can go through that and wipe it away and actually be a witness to the Mace Method and understand it more, to show people that, hey, this does exist, this is out there. You can get past those self-limiting beliefs, that trauma or any type of negativity that you have been experiencing or continuing to experience in life.
Yeah.
Vanessa, please tell the audience where we can find you at on social media, and then any type of information that you would like to relate to the audience in regards to just getting in contact with the nurse practitioner who can give you more information on the Mace Method.
Awesome. Yeah. So you can find me on Instagram and Facebook. I have a website called shiftitco.com. On there, I have a stack of information about the Mace Energy Method. We have practitioners all around the world. So we have a whole stack in the US, we've got UK, Europe, and here in Australia. So we also have the Mace Energy Method website that you can then go and find practitioners there. Or if you kind of would like to know more and reach out, I can do a private, quite quick chat with you. That can be found on my website. My Instagram handle is shiftitco, and my Facebook's Vanessa Jane. So, come and follow along and see what we do, and hear the testimonials that we have in terms of, the transformations that people are receiving in their lives. It is incredible. I know what it's done to my life, my kids' lives, and a lot of my clients. So that's where you can reach me. Like having a conversation with a practitioner and just see if it's the right fit for you is probably the best way to start. That way we can talk more about what's going on within your own personal world. And then, we can say, okay, well, this is what we can do, and this is how that could work, and this is how many sessions you may or may not need. But most people get a change within one.
I love it. I would love to work with you myself. Do you have to be in Australia to work with
No,
you?
I've got
Okay.
clients all over the world. So yeah,
Okay.
I
Okay.
work with because I'm also one of the very few trainers of it. We don't have a lot of trainers as in training people up to be practitioners.
Mhm.
Um, we have a pretty uh, it takes about 6 to 8 months to become a practitioner. And so I've got trainees all over the world as well. I work, I've got some in the US, I've got some in Europe, a couple here in Australia. So no, yes, we can absolutely work with you. We can do it over Zoom. And that's the other good thing about this process is you can be anywhere as long as you've got an internet or a phone, we can do it. So
Yes.
when it first started, they used to just do it over the phone. John used to do it over the phone. So it's pretty powerful. If you go on my website, there's a book called Causism.
Mhm.
You can download an ebook there. It is at a cost for $11, or you can get it like if you want a hard copy. That's what it looks like.
Okay.
This is John's book, and in that he explains how he discovered it, and it just makes perfect sense. Everyone that reads that book tends to go, oh, of course, that just makes sense. We keep it simple.
Okay. I'm a
Yeah.
bookworm, so I'm definitely going to get that book. And I'm definitely going to go on your website just to better my life, especially with mental health and just learning more about that fourth layer and how I can get rid of those feelings and they never come back.
And
Because
then come back.
this is like so aligned in what I'm focusing on right now, Vanessa. So I'm just
Yeah.
so grateful that you even took the time to come on the show and just explain that Mace method to the audience and anybody that's suffering with mental health and just the day-to-day struggle because life is so hard, especially right now, the times that we're in, it's kind of
Yeah.
scary. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. And so I just commend you, but before I go, I always like to ask my audience this question. Like, Vanessa, if you could talk to 14-year-old Vanessa Jane today, what would you tell her about the Mace Method or just about life in general?
14, that's a big question. Um, to go do the work on yourself. If you want to create a really good life, you have to do the inner work
Mm-hmm.
and, work on you first, put you first, learn about you, grow you, and then you will just automatically create the life that you want to have. Because when we let go of the things inside of us that are holding us back, we just naturally create. That's just who we are. And so, yeah, that's probably what I would say to my 14-year-old self, and stay away from certain boys. But, um, yeah. But
Well, I
Brittany,
love it.
like, if you like reach out, like I'll send you a message, and let's have a chat because I would love to show you the Mace method, and that will then help you answer any questions for your people if they ask you any questions about it as well. But it is a phenomenal process that does get to the root cause and eliminate it, and there's nothing else out there like it that we know of that gets the results that we do.
Yeah, I'm interested in it all. I'm interested in the therapy part and even becoming a practitioner. If I could do that part, that would be awesome as well. So I definitely will be contacting you after the show. Guys, I just want to commend Vanessa Jane for coming on the show today. I want to thank you so much for just taking up this little bit of time. Guys, please go like, share, and subscribe to my podcast. Please go check out Vanessa as well. I have her information in the details. Click on her link. I'm sure she's going to give us so much more in regards to the Mace method if you just tap in with her. She is amazing. Yes, yes.
Thank
But
you.
I'm going to
Thank you
stop.
so much for having me, Brittany. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. I am going to sign out. This is episode number 104, The Mace Method with Vanessa Jane. You guys have a great Monday. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.
Yay!